Java immutability. Before we jump into what immutability is, let's revisit the fundamentals of object-oriented programming. If we keep functional programming that was introduced in Java 8 aside, a Java program is mostly a collection of objects talking to the other objects by invoking each other's instance methods or a set of static methods. Every object is of a particular type, and that type is defined by the class or the interface that will eventually be implemented by a concrete class. So a class basically is kind of a template that defines the state and the behavior that the objects of its type will support. Let's consider an example of an employee class. Let's say we have an employee class defined here and it has multiple attributes. We can see it has an ID attribute, it has a first name and a last name, it has a private no argument constructor, it has a public constructor which initializes the ID, first name and last name, and it has all the setters and the getters that we define for each of the individual instance variables or the attributes of this particular class. It has a toString method, equals method, hash code method. So as we see here, the employee class is a POJO or a plain old Java object with basic set of attributes and getters and setters defined. But this class in itself cannot do much. We need to create instances or objects of this particular class. And this is where like the new operator comes into play. So whenever at runtime the JVM encounters the new keyword against a class type, it will create an instance of that particular class which we call as object. The object will be an independent entity of this particular type of class that was used to create this particular object. So if we take a look at this sample class, here we have a main method wherein we are creating an employee object which is employee1. So what basically we are doing is we are initializing this employee object with certain set of attributes, which is the employee ID is 1, the first name is Amit and the last name is set to S. So now this particular employee1 object will have the value for these three attributes. So in this program we are just printing out the object, and afterwards if you see at line number 8 we are trying to change the first name of this particular employee, and we are again trying to print the value that we get from this object. So let's run this program and see what is the output. So here as we see in the output, initially the employee ID was 1, the employee name it's showing as Amit S, but since we changed the first name at line number 8, the employee name is now Ram S. So we can say that our object is mutable because we were able to change the property value first name of this particular object. So what exactly is immutability? Immutability refers to the phenomenon wherein the entity cannot be changed once it has been created or initialized. As we saw, the employee object was created at step number or line number 5, but we were still able to change the first name value from Amit to Ram in line number 8. Thus, our employee object is not immutable. So now, how can we achieve immutability in Java? So before we go into that, we need to consider two different aspects in terms of immutability. One is immutable object and the second is immutable references. We will take a look at both of them. Immutable object. An immutable object is one whose state cannot be altered once it has been created. So that means whatever value for the instance variables we want, they need to be supplied during the object creation. Along with that, we also need to understand how the final keyword in Java helps us to achieve immutability. As we witnessed, by default, the instance variables we declared are mutable and their values can be altered either via setters or some business logic which we have already seen. Now let's consider a scenario wherein we don't want to alter the instance variables once an object has been created, and this is where modifier comes into play. So let's take a look at another version of the employee class. In this particular declaration, what we have done is we have marked the attributes or the instance variables ID, first name and last name with the final modifier. So now what happens is whatever initialization you want to do for the employee object, that has to happen during the object creation as we see, which is during this once this constructor is being invoked. Let's take this scenario, this line number 14, wherein I'm trying to create a method which will allow me to update this employee attributes. So let me uncomment this piece of code. As you see, when I try to update the values for ID, first name and last name, it is giving me a compilation issue, and it is saying that I cannot assign a value to a final variable last name. So this is how once the object was created, its values kind of stay intact, and even via some other methods or manipulating these attributes is not possible since the attributes have been marked as final. Thus we see how the final modifier helps us to achieve immutability by preventing us from modifying the values for the instance variables. Now let's try to understand what do we mean by immutable references. Now as we saw previously, we were trying to update the instance variables which were declared as final. There could also be scenarios wherein we declare some object references as final. So let's consider this scenario. In line number 23, as we see, we are creating an employee 3 similarly to how we created the earlier employee objects, but we are marking that with a final modifier. So what happens over here is now employee 3 will always keep on pointing to this particular object that was created. Okay, let's say in line number 24, we are trying to assign employee 1 to point to employee 2. Since both of these have not been marked final, we can still go ahead and start pointing employee 1 to employee 2. But if I uncomment this line number 25 and try to point employee 3 object to where employee 2 was pointing to, we get this compilation issue. And as we see, the reason for this is employee 3 has been marked with the final modifier, and this is where it prevents us from pointing employee 3 to anything else but this particular employee that we created in line number 23. This is what is immutable reference. Thus we see that using the final keyword we can ensure that we cannot change the referencing of a variable if it has been marked as final. Since employee 1 object was not declared with final reference, we were able to change its pointing to employee 2, but we couldn't do that for employee 3. Hence, we saw that if we want to achieve immutability both at the object level and at reference level, how the final keyword is getting utilized.